Ooh, it got so quiet. We still have 2 minutes, so continue to talk amongst yourselves. It's okay. I'm going to continue to drink my Diet Pepsi here. It's good. If you have some form of device, it would be great. We're going to use it a little bit later. So if you have some form of device, go ahead and get that out and have that ready in probably about a half hour, almost toward the end. All right, we're going to go. So, you know about the EdReach network. All right, very good. Wow, that's really good. And my co-contributor is right over there, heckling. She's in the heckle row over here. I do live in the city of Milwaukee. And so I put this whole Google Glass thing up here because I have it here. I decided not to wear it for this one. But I put that up there because I'm really getting into the whole wearable technology thing. I have my little watch. I have lots of wearables and things like that. I think those are going to change our kids and adults with disabilities' lives. I'm a former special ed teacher. I know that sounds over dramatic, but I think it's true. So that's just a little bit. All right. Those of you that are on like session number 3 of mine, I'm really sorry. As you can tell, I'm pretty goal-oriented because this is now the 3rd time I'm going to make you commit to doing something. I'll say it again. I believe that when you come to sessions like this, or to conferences like this, we get all this cool stuff, right? Because we're with like-minded educators, aren't we, when we're sitting here? So I'm preaching to the choir, pretty much. But what happens when we get back to our schools? We file our ICE stuff, a totally old school, right? We pull a file, we put it in there, and then when do we ever revisit it? Summer? Maybe never, sadly. But that happens. It's life. Life happens when we leave this place, and a lot of times we forget what we've learned. So I am going to ask you to take one thing. I'm going to fire a lot of things at you. I'm going to ask you to please take one thing that we do and try it next week with your kids. Okay, maybe not next week, maybe 2 weeks. I'll give you a little break there. But here's even more important. I'm going to have you verbalize that at the end, because I do find when it comes out of our mouth, and we've actually spoken the words of, I'm going to try KidBlog, then we do it. Rather than if we just sit and think to ourselves, I'd like to try KidBlog, then it goes away. Okay? So I am going to ask you to commit to trying something. It doesn't matter to me what, just something. Just so that you know, everything that we're going to look at is in this presentation, but I'm going to be getting out of this and back in frequently, so you don't need to take notes. Everything that we're going to do is here. All right. So when we talk about getting kids connected, we talk about having kids create. I chose to put the create piece in there because I think sometimes we forget that piece. We get so focused on having our kids do everything online and connect with each other that we forget about the creation piece. And I'm not an art teacher, but my art teacher tells me all the time, we need to have kids creating. So we're going to talk about creation tools. Some of them are web-based, some of them aren't. We're going to talk about ways that we can get connected, and then we're going to look at specific things that we can collaborate with others on. That's the sort of the goal for today. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to start out. I'm going to give you 2 minutes only because I know that this particular quote has gotten a ton of play here at ICE. I've heard it in a bunch of sessions. So my friend Rushton Hurley, I can call him a friend. I'm totally name dropping. That's okay though. When students know that others will see their work, they want it to be good. When they know that it's just for me, the teacher, they want it to be good enough. If you haven't heard that yet here at ICE, please internalize that. When I heard Rushton say that, it was like, oh my God, you're totally right. We need to expand the audience for our kids. That's what I would like to talk to you about, is expanding that audience. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to talk to someone around you. And all I want you to talk about is why I would start this particular session called Create, Connect, Collaborate with this particular quote. Why would we do that? So go ahead. As you can tell, I could talk about that part for a long time. So we're going to keep going. Oops, let's close that. So that is the Marvel comic creation. How many of you have ever used Kerpoof? Kerpoof, in case you have never heard of it, Kerpoof is an online, have you ever heard of KidPix? Yeah, Kerpoof is online KidPix, essentially. Here it is. It's free. A great way to have our little ones start to use the creation process in math to create math problems. Anybody use it? Put your hand back up if you used it. Do you want to give a little example of how you've used it with kids? Anyone? Just basically the draw. Is that it? All right, let's keep going. So other than Kerpoof, we have Storyboard That. Does anybody use it? Yeah, it's only been out like 3 weeks. But I'm going to tell you, it's a really cool tool. And you as the educator can create a class account, and you can have your kids storyboard and share that with you. It's called Storyboard That. And then I'll show you real quickly just so that you know. It had a little problem loading yesterday, so I don't think I'm going to take the time to go in. But think about that when our kids are writing. We have to get them pre-planning. That's part of the creation process, isn't it? All right, we're going to keep going. How many of you know, and I'm not going to go back to the slideshow, how many of you know that YouTube has a video editor built in? Did you know that? That is super crazy. Check this out. This is in YouTube. I have a fully functional video editor. Why do I care about that? In the creation process, why do I care? Accessible to everyone. This doesn't matter, right? This doesn't matter now. I can edit right in YouTube. I can share it out in YouTube. How many of you are in Google Apps domains? Yeah, did you know YouTube's part of that? So you can edit right in your domain and share them that way. A fully functional editor. And you can add in audio and everything else. You could do it in the editor. All right, I'm going to keep going. Oop, hang on, wrong one. Oop. Say it again. If you edit it, you can like if you have multiple edits, you could rename it if you want, or it's just live editing like in Google. Mm-hmm. What? There is one, there's an extension called Turn Out the Lights, that if that's something that you're interested in, you may want to check into. It's right here, actually. Right here, that's what it looks like. Okay, sure. All right, I'm going to keep going. How many of you use the Google Draw? Did you know, if I had to pick one Google tool that's the least or the most underutilized tool, it's Draw. Very few people use this, and it's a really good tool. So why do we care about the fact that it's in our Google domain? I'll give you a hint, it's this thing right here. Why do we care about that? Come on, I know it's late in the day, you can do it. Our audience gets bigger. Thank you, you win. Absolutely, we can use our Google accounts to collaborate on a draw. Now, in Draw, think about that for kids. How many of you work with younger kids, say maybe under 6th grade? Yeah, do you use graphic organizers? Why not have your kids create their own graphic organizer using Draw? Okay, and then have them use that with their group that they're collaborating with, using Draw. Drawing is one of the most underutilized tools in Google, and I can't figure out why. Maybe people just don't know about it. All right, Educreations, who uses it? What do you use it for? Can you give a little shout out while I open one? Say it one more time. And how would you flip a lesson using Educreations? Okay, anybody else? Go ahead. Nice. So you use it as a parent communication tool. Okay. Anyone else? Mm-hmm. Okay. So form of presentation. Go ahead. Nice. Who do they turn it into then? Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, it's real popular for math. As you can see, so I have a 5th grade teacher that uses this as a way. She has her students create tutorials for their classmates. And so each student is assigned a particular part of a tutorial, and they come in. If you're not familiar with EduCreations, I'll play this, but only for just a little bit of time, and then we'll keep going. And she uses it, and then we're a Moodle district. You guys use Moodle? Anybody? No? What would be an equivalent to Moodle? Blackboard? Okay. Moodle is the same as, very similar to Blackboard. And so what she does is all of her 5th grade kids are assigned, every one of them has to do a tutorial, and then she puts them up on her Moodle for parents. Because we use investigations, which, as you can see right here, is non-traditional math, and so parents struggle with that. Okay? And so she puts this up.
Hi. And on the top,
just so you know, while she's talking, this is done on our smartboard. And so because it was hard, we're not an iPad district, this is an iPad app. It's hard for kids to do this with the mouse, so we put it up on the smartboard and they do it with their finger. That's what they're doing here. Say it again.
And 5.
Well, it's hard for them to write.
And 2.
All right, so you get the idea of the creation process, right, with EduCreations. So I'm going to close that up and keep going here. All right. Does anyone use My Story Maker? I'm going to keep going in the interest of time and come back to that. How many elementary people? Put your hands back up just so I can. Okay, I will make myself a note to for sure come back to that because you're going to like it. It just takes a while to get going, so I'm going to keep going here. All right, we're going to go into our connect part. How many of you know Projects by Jen? Please tell me, everybody raise your hand right now. No. Okay. This is fantastic. Any tech coaches in the room? Please, 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 please share this with your elementary people. So Projects by Jen is this website that a woman named Jen Wagner made. She's out in San Diego, California somewhere. And so she has created this site of gold, actually, for our ways to get our kids connected. One example is she has a holiday cards exchange. So we had our kids participate in this holiday this card exchange, and they were sharing cards around the world. Here's a really cool part of this. We had one of our kindergarten classes got a school from South Africa. Now, what happened around Christmas-ish in South Africa? Do you remember? Nelson Mandela died. Well, there was no mail for weeks. And so this 5-year-old kids are having a discussion about why their cards aren't going to arrive till February. It was this huge thing. And they loved it. And they all know who Nelson Mandela is. And they're having this great discussion. So we talk about the need to get them connected. So not just to increase the quality of work, they now have a whole new idea of what it is to be halfway around the world. And so Projects by Jen, there's projects, I'll go in here. There are projects on everything you can imagine. She does a gingerbread project. She does, here, go ahead. The Oreo project, here it is right here. Okay? She has projects on anything you can imagine. if I had to say one way to get your teachers connected tomorrow, have them look at this, okay? Because these are easy to use, easy to replicate projects that your teachers can do right away. So please, please, please share this with them. Has anyone done a project? I know not many of us had heard of it. Anyone participate in a project? Judy, have you done the Oreo project? You want to? Yeah, and the card exchange obviously takes a long time because mail is going through, but please. And what I appreciate about Jen is if you participate in a project and you have this great idea on how to make it better, send it to her because she will implement that too for everybody. Please, 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 if you are an elementary, 6th grade and down, take a look at this if you haven't. This would be your big, remember how I'm making you commit to something? This would be a good one. All right. Kid blog, how many of us use it? Excellent, very good. Just let's have a quick few examples of how you use it. Somebody? Okay, how do you create a digital portfolio with it? Oh my gosh, you totally lied right in the session? Ignore what she said. Next. Excellent. So what grade? Nice. You have your hand up? Go ahead. Now, are you really using KidBlog or are you lying too? Okay, good. Somebody else? Just share. Go ahead. Quad blogging. Say what that means for people. That's awesome. Can you come up and finish the session talking about quad? I want to learn more about quad blogging, don't you? Are you on Twitter? I totally put her on the spot. You can't say no after the last 2 days, I'm sorry. I was just in Josh Stumpenhorse, and he was like, if you're not on Twitter, you have to be. So he totally would have called you out on that. Very good, very good. Anybody else? Kid blog examples. Go ahead. Nice, and did everyone hear that? For quotes of the day, and then you respond to that? Are you providing them the quote, or are they, okay. Very good. Anyone else? Go ahead. Nice. And then do you comment as well on the, very good. So for language development, nice. Somebody else? This particular one that you're looking at is a 6th grade. I have a teacher, a kindergarten teacher, a different kindergarten teacher that blogged with her students. She spent most of her summer in Australia and blogged with her kids. She blogged while she was there. Kids would come in and ask questions. It was fantastic. It just extended those learning opportunities through the whole summer. And thank you for bringing that up. KidBlog is not the end-all be-all in blogging. There's Blogger. There's a ton of different ways to blog. We personally use it because it's easy. We have found that it's very, very easy, but everyone has their own thing. But I think what's important is that we have our kids publishing writing for other kids. And KidBlog is a very, very easy way to do that. All right, how many of you use Voicethread? Okay, so it seems like not very many of us do, and I really want to have you understand about Voicethread. Hang on. Oh, my link is not opening now. Remember how awesome that was, that everything opened? There it is. All right, so Voicethread is this really cool thing, for those of you that don't know what it is. You take a piece of media, and so what this is a whole bunch of media. Those you're looking at, some of those are kid pics, and some of them are TuxPaint, and some of it is Kerpoof. So you're looking at images that the kids made on Australian animals. Each student had to make an Australian animal presentation. Okay? So what happens with Voicethread is you have your piece of media, and then you have commenting. How many of you have never heard of Voicethread? Wow, then I am going to ask you to please, please, please try this with your kids. It's such an easy way to have kids connect. And what it does is you take this piece of media, and then you come in and you comment. And so what we have here is a comment. Now I'm going to actually fast forward because I wanted to show you. Hang on one second. I went to the wrong one. Let me just get to the right picture here. All right. So what we did was we had our kids go in and leave comments about their Australian animal. And you'll hear them. Why isn't this coming up? One moment, please. This is that awkward silence. Can you make a comment? Please, make a comment. Someone do something, because this is awkward. Yeah, right. And yeah, do you know, it's really funny. So Voicethread, I never say this, except for about Voicethread. Voicethread is the one tool that I feel you can use at any grade level and any content area. And I would stand by that. I've not used it in college, but I've used it from 4K to seniors in high school. Absolutely, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so it costs money to do anything beyond a basic Voicethread. Yep. Yeah. You can create just generic ones, I think up to 3 for free. I'm sorry, someone else. Yeah. Yeah, they have gone to pay. I will tell you, we have a district account for it, and if there's one service that I would say is worth the money, it's here, because very few things do you get such bang for your buck K-12, or even past 12. How do you use it in college? Nice. On multiple intelligences. Very beautiful. Nice. All right, so here we go. Here's our little dingo, and this little child is going to talk about it.
Did you know that a mother dingo regurgitates its food?
So what this is an Australian woman talking to us about the dingo.
Food for her puppies.
It's very, very
Which
soft.
means that she eats all the yummy things and swallows it and then brings it back up again, and her babies eat it for dinner.
Do you hear what she's saying? She's talking about how they like throw up and do all this stuff, and of course, what 5-year-old doesn't love that? So here's what happened. They drew their pictures.
A male kangaroo is called a boomer, and a female kangaroo is called a fly.
So how cool is that for a 5-year-old?
A
Because they can't understand anything she's saying.
A joey.
Right? With the accent. She has a very thick accent. So what she's going to do is she's going to have her first grade kids, this is kindergarten, first grade, she's going to have her first grade kids do our animals. And then we're going to have discussions about that. Okay? Another example in Voicethread is I have high schoolers use it as an assessment tool, and I'm not going to take the time to pull it up. They use it as an assessment tool, and the teacher, actually if I can get it quick I will, the teacher will leave instructions for them, and then they come in and they speak the language that they're studying. So here we are. They have to do this. Here's a Spanish 2 assessment. This is from a while ago here. And the educator comes in and leaves directions. And then our kids come in, and in the language that they're studying, she uses it as an oral assessment. Then, to kick it up a notch, we are partnering with a school in Mexico, and they will come in, and we will be able to have those discussions and share as well. Okay? It is a fantastic way to collaborate. Voicethread actually started, just on a side note, as a way to archive images. That's why it was created. And as sometimes we do, educators, you know, we go and we grab it and we make it ours. And that's what happened. All right, I'm going to keep going here. If you haven't tried Voicethread, please do, okay? I'm going to show you one thing, and that's the Global Ed. Is Lucy in here? Lucy Gray? No? This is the Global Ed Conference. Has anyone gone to this? And by gone, I mean participated online. Have you? Yeah, so it's the greatest conference because it's 24/7 of all these sessions because it's a global conference. And so, I don't know about you, but my best time to learn is usually between about 10 at night and maybe midnight. I'm tired after school. This conference, the sessions just run, and they're from people all over the world. If you want to get connected, please take a look at this network, okay? And you'll find that, you will find this in the presentation. If I had to say one way that I run a leadership team, I ask them all to participate in one session of this, and they're still talking about this. This happened, I believe, in November every year. And they're still talking about things that they learned in the archive sessions. So please take a look at that. Do you want to talk about a session you went to? Somebody that raised their hand that went? That's okay, we don't have to. All right. How many of you use Google+? Excellent. If you don't, you should. It's sort of like that Twitter thing. I'm going to guilt you into it. How many of you are in a Google domain? Yeah, so you have Google+. It's there. You actually have to have your domain admin turn it on. But here's the thing about Google+ that a lot of people don't participate in, and it makes me crazy. It's Google+ communities. There are communities on every possible, oops, it's still coming. There are communities on every possible thing you can imagine. If you have an interest, we had a teacher with a really intense interest in photography. She joined like 15 different communities all about photography. Anything you can imagine. Now, I get a little hassle every time I show this because really I have no life. It's all about technology here. But these are communities that I'm a member of. Get connected this way. Get our kids connected using this. Now, I will say Google+, you would use high school and up. This needs to be a high school thing, that they can join the community. But please, for your own professional learning, get connected this way, okay? Google+, if you're not familiar with it, is sort of the Twitter, Facebook of Google. And they really hate it when you describe it like that. But in general, that's the best way to understand it, right? Anyone who uses it got a better description? Yeah. Yes. Lots of us can't stick to 140 characters. Google+ lets us ramble on and ramble on, okay? It's a great way to get connected specifically about your interests or your student interest. All right, I'm going to keep going. We're running out of time. I'm going to go to the collaborate part. So now we've talked about the creation, we've talked about connecting, and we're going to talk about collaborating. And it looks like maybe, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go back to Google+. So there is a woman out in California who's doing this fantastic thing called Mystery Hangouts. There are also, anybody participate in Mystery Skype? Raise your hand if you've done a Mystery Skype. Can you tell me where your person was? Did you do it? And did your kids get it? They did. We didn't get ours. We had to get a little bit of help. So here's what happens. You collaborate with a teacher, not in your state or from around the country, around the world, And then your two classes try to figure out where each of you happen to be. So think about all of the Common Core standards. I hate to bring that up when we're all, having all this fun. But I know, wah, wah. Think about all the standards, though. They have to be able to communicate digitally. They have to be able to ask good questions. They have to be able to ask good questions to figure out where they are. This is a Google Plus community called Mystery Hangout. I just learned yesterday she's doing one called Mystery Career. How cool is that? You can ask questions about different careers. I think that's super fun. So take a look at that. Skype in the classroom. Anybody use it? I do have to admit, I'm sort of going away from Skype only because we are a Google domain and we use Hangouts for everything. Skype in the classroom, though, is fantastic. There are authors all over this. Did you know that Skype has an education part of it? If you didn't know that, please share that with somebody. And if you do, please share that with somebody. They have a whole education component to what they do. Okay? And guess what? They find people. They have them already connected for you. All right. Sorry about that. All right, the Global Read Aloud. Please tell me somebody's done it. Excellent, good. When did you do it? You did this fall, okay. Okay. When did you do yours? Yeah. Well, I'm going to brag a little bit. We have this gem in Wisconsin named Pernille Rip. She's like amazing. If you don't follow her on Twitter, please find her. She created the Global Read Aloud, and she just keeps making it better and better and better. What a way to have our kids connect. Her name is Pernille Rip. R-I-P-P is her last name. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you, and then this is when everybody, I said last session, this is when everyone either looks down or starts to leave for their next session when I make you commit. But I just want to show you the Google Plus. I'm going to go back to Google Plus to get our kids connected. There is a thing that I'm doing in my school district called PD in your PJs. It's true, I know. It wasn't my idea, the name. I'm not that creative. So what I do is I provide professional development for my teachers using Google Plus at night. So they come in from their house, I'm at mine, we do our thing. But think about that for our kids connecting. We have the ability with technology to connect our kids anywhere. I have a world languages teacher right now whose class is partnering, I mentioned it earlier, with a class in Mexico. Her kids have an always-on access to this class. They come in, they say, hey, I got to connect with my buddy. Off they go. They don't call it buddy, can't remember what they call it. But they go and they have a Google Plus discussion. She has requirements for them. And the whole concept of learning the language is done in real time. It's done with Spanish-speaking students, and they are also learning English using something like Google Plus and Google Plus events and Hangouts. If you don't use that, please maybe make that your takeaway to check into this a little bit more, especially if you are in a Google domain, okay? Because the potential is there to change how you teach and what you teach. All right, are you ready for the commitment part of this? All right, come on, you can do it. Here's what I'd like you to do. I know everyone's like, oh yeah, look at the time, I gotta go. It's okay if you don't want to. It's challenge by choice here, we'll do it. Hopefully that will come up. All right, so how many of you have heard of Padlet? Or wait, keep your hands up, Wall Wisher, online stickies. Yeah, it's all the same thing. What that is an online sticky board. That's all I would like you to do is visit my online sticky board. And I would like for you to share how you plan to connect your kids. How do you plan to do that? How do you plan to take it? I don't care if it's from this session or it's from another session that you went to. How do you plan to connect your kids? Because everybody in here has access to that. And so I'll pull it up in just a second. Just an aside, what I like about Padlet is that you can personalize the link. So I have my own link for that. But what I would like you to do is I would like for you to join the, I'll put this back up. I'm going to pull it. Did you get it? No? I'll put it back up in just a second, okay? Hang on. My computer is running slower and slower. I don't know what that means, but I'm a little nervous. Let's get this here. Hang on. All right, here's what the wall looks like for those of you that have never used anything like this. This is such an underused tool to get not just parent feedback, but student feedback. This can be used on any device. It's web-based. So think about this. This could be your exit ticket to a unit. This could be your introduction to a unit to figure out what kids know. This could be a way for you to collaborate with a school in another country. It's so easy. All you do is you double-click and add your thoughts. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and I'll put the link back up in just a second, I would like you to commit to one way you're going to have your students connect, maybe between now and the end of the year. I'll give you a little bit extra time. Okay? All right. Actually, should I put the link? You want the link or the QR code or both? You want both? All right. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm only going to give you a couple minutes to hop in and do that, and then we're going to wrap it up. You get it? I've asked if you would too, please put your Twitter handle on so that if you share a really great idea, then I can hop back in and contact you about it. Or if you're looking for a teacher to connect with, is it not working? Are we good? Are we okay? If it's not working, try the link. Yeah. You might be better off just trying the link. I know we want to use our cool QR code reader because we learned about it and it's cool. Say it again. You want me to make it bigger? Thank you. Oh my gosh, I just got the 1-minute warning, you guys. We're in trouble here. We're in a lot of trouble. And my computer's running slow. Does that count in my minute? That should not count. Oh man. I'm going to put that back up. We're going to try it again. This is an awkward way to end the session. All right. So I will put that back up, but I do need to wrap it up because we do have another session. Please commit to, even though I cannot make you get into that Padlet right now because I'm running out of time, please commit to trying something, because if you don't, you'll leave here and then I don't want you to have wasted time. So thank you very much. Get connected, please. Yeah, you have a question? I'll put it back up. Sure. Is that good? Can you see that back? Is that okay? You got it? All right. Thank you, you guys. Have a good, what do we have? One more session?